Yeah, you know what time it is. Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpened Steel after dark.
Hello, Anthony. You said After Dark was much needed. We agree. And so we are here with an After Dark episode with a surprise presence by Joy. We were not sure that Joy was going to be able to be with us. And so we pre-recorded some segments. We're actually going to try something a little new because we pre-recorded these segments as though they were in the show. But because I can play them in the show, you can actually comment on them and then we can comment back to you. Unlike when we have to just do a pre-recorded program where y'all can just make comments, but we can't say nothing about it.
We're really here. And so what had happened was I've been busy. I've been working my tail off because in spite of what the current administration would have you believe, people still want to understand how to better relate to other people. And that's what I do for a living, is teach one human being how to see the humanity in another human being. That's my life. That's my raison d'etre. And so I've been doing it for the last few weeks. I've been in at least 2 cities every week. And I am currently in New York City. Now, it's Joy at the White House again. I wouldn't set foot in that infested place right now if you paid me. Well, it depends on how much you paid me and what I had to do when I went in there. Now, that being said, I am in Financial District in Manhattan. Because LaGuardia canceled all the flights. And they were like, I was like, can I get home? And they said, no, ma'am, you cannot get home. Well, what about Jet? No. What about Newark? No. DC? No. What part of you can't go home do you not understand? And so I'm here having a ball. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because, New York, anybody out there that's from New York, y'all are winning. When it comes to pizza and cheesecake, y'all be killing it. And I'm gonna give you fried rice as well, because I've had some bomb ass food since I'm from Georgia and lived in Texas and had all kind of Louisiana food. This cheesecake is fire, and it was just random from whatever random place was close to my hotel. This fried rice, I can still feel the garlic and the fresh vegetables. This is not them frozen peas and carrots bullshit they be doing down in Atlanta. This is so good, and it's just takeout from the Hampton Inn, right? New York, big up on the pizza, the thin crust pizza, the fried rice, and the cheesecake.
I am absolutely going to co-sign. I am co-signing on all of the New York cuisine. I took my son, Cole, on a foodie tour to New York in 2023. And we had outside of our a hotel room, because it's New York, right? And I was not going to be spending $700 a night to be in a hotel room. But we found this cool little spot in Manhattan, walking distance from Times Square if you wanted to, but we did not. And it was like $150 a night. It was not a pod, but it was pod adjacent. Certainly it was small, but it had everything you needed. It was bunk beds, but that was fine because my son could sleep on the top bunk. I could sleep on the bottom bunk, and we were able to navigate New York at a very reasonable rate. And we got on the subway, and we took the subway to Queens at this pizzeria that has all these crazy kind of pizzas. And you could get a pizza that had 8 different kinds of slices around the whole thing. And so we did that, and we food blogged it. We went to Smorgasburg in New York, which is just like Smorgasburg in LA. And apparently they're doing a Smorgasburg in Atlanta now. So when you get back home on your trip, you need to do that. Exactly. And I will tell you, right outside the hotel, duly across the street from our hotel, was the best $1.50 slice of pizza we tried. We committed ourselves. Whenever we saw a little hole in the wall pizza spot that had like a $1, $2 piece of pizza, we would go. And we got perfect cheese or perfect pepperoni slices. We didn't go for anything fancy, and it's truly to be said that in New York, there are geniuses on every corner. That was from 6 degrees of separation. You can find exquisite cuisine, and it was just great. We hit Brooklyn, we hit Queens, we were in Manhattan, obviously. We didn't get to the Bronx, but that's probably why we're still alive. So I would just say,
that's racist.
it's not racist. That's
Classist.
okay, maybe classist. I'll give you classist. But it was really great, and I'm glad. I mean, I'm sad that you weren't even able to get out, but I'm glad that you're safe and still grinding in New York. So
I'm still thinking about the calling, because I'm platinum with Delta, and already I was platinum this year in July from Delta, and they were like, "Yes, this is the platinum hotline." I need no. I'm platinum, but yes, I'll give you a platinum. No. What about these other cities? The other cities also say no. You know why? Because it's the motherfucking flood.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's flash flooding all through. And so Newark, JFK, and LaGuardia are so close to each other. They all got hit with the same
They
storm.
all get it. Yeah. Right. No, you can't.
And DC was messed up anyway. So they're like, yeah, you just find a hotel. You'll be all right. The funny thing is the hotels have space because people coming into New York could not get here.
Could not get in. Right. So ripple effect.
Exactly. And I got my bomb cheesecake.
Well, and listen, and did. So we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I try to be kind of precious with these show titles sometimes, and so I was doing a riff on the Reese's peanut butter commercial. Somebody put their chocolate in my peanut butter. Somebody got their peanut butter on my chocolate, and so this is 3 of the things we're talking about today. We're talking about Epstein, we're talking about South Park and Paramount, and we're talking about the American Eagle commercial. So I want to kick off the segment with the bit that we recorded about American Eagle. So we're going to sit and watch, and we're going to look at your comments to see what you're having to say. And if at any point you need us to stop the playback so we can address something in particular, we're happy to do that as well. So we finna do it now. Up is this jeans ad. This Joy brought this to my attention, so I'm gonna let you have it. You go on ahead and Joy tackle this subject.
Right. So I would like to talk about this Sydney Sweeney ad and the resurgence of white supremacy in television. First of all, there's nothing new under the sun. They used to do this a long time ago. The coded language, the secret, sneaky things to discuss. Matter of fact, somebody even compared it to an old Brooke Shields ad, which of course the comments chewed them up because they're like, first of all, Brooke Shields is a child in this ad, and I really don't appreciate y'all bringing back her exploitation from 2 generations ago. And then here we are doing a similar thing. But let's talk about this American Eagle ad. If you haven't seen it, American Eagle put out an ad for blue jeans. And the insidiousness of the ad is, my genes are good. And some genes get passed down from one generation to another because they're so good. And if you look at me, sometimes they can be blue. And then they close in on her blue eyes. So there's that blonde hair, blue-eyed, good genes message. Very Aryan nation, right? Very master race, very white supremacy. And they had the nerve to publish this and put this out for everybody to see like it was right, like we wouldn't notice. And I think that's what got people up in arms. Yeah.
And let's be clear. It doesn't just focus on her eyes. She says the words, "My eyes are blue."
Right.
In the context of talking about these, and let's just say it. Y'all ever heard of American Eagle jeans? I remember back when I was in high school, I think, or like early years of college, American Eagle was like a brand. But when I was a kid, Levi's, Wranglers, Lee jeans, Sasan jeans for a while. That was
Francois Jabot.
It's your Bow jeans. Like there were a whole Gloria Vanderbilt jeans was like the white girl. Like that was the jean. That was
right, because no black girl could get her booty in some Gloria Vanderbilt jeans. They went straight up the back.
They were pencil skirt jeans or cigarette pant jeans. So the point is that these are jeans brands that have stood the test of, well, some of them have stood the test of time. Gloria Vanderbilt doesn't have a brand anymore. But the point is that jeans, and then a whole bunch of other folks have come out, True Religion jeans,
Lucky Brand jeans, yeah.
Everybody's got jeans. But for American Eagle, to be putting forth this ad in the way that they did. And let's be clear, it wasn't just one ad. It was a series of ads. And there's another ad where it's a lot more cheesecake because she's in front of a car pretending like she's, fixing a transmission or whatever in a white tube top that definitely is not selling white tube tops as much as it's selling other things on her body. And
there's another one where she's got on like oversized baggy jeans that are like rolled up at the waist. I guess trying to show off, because it's nice figure. She had a little snatch waist, showing that off, but also that's it. What else? What do we show on the roll on the jeans? I'm not sure where we're headed with this. And I also find it so hypocritical in a society that holds pencil thin white women with blonde hair and blue eyes and very little musculature as the beauty standard, and then tells them all to go get lip fillers and put some wave in their hair and get a Brazilian butt lift, right? What do you really want? We know what you really want. Matter of fact, BMO the Prince, the guy that does, the years as characters, he actually did his own version. He's like, these black jeans make your booty look big. And he just had on black denim. He's like, black jeans, if you want to have some booty. It was great. But I want to talk specifically about why they thought this was okay to do. Because the last election, and before that, the election of 2016, has said it's okay to do. Look at the rise in hate crimes across all marginalized communities. The whole Charlottesville, Jews will not replace us thing that they were saying. The tiki torches, the running over people at protests, the people losing their mind at Starbucks talking about I'm a Trump supporter, as if that makes them something special, right? And now just leaning into Nazism. We got people that are saying that they are Nazis with their whole chest, right? Like it's something to be proud of. Yeah. And so here's this American Evil Genius subversively saying, yeah, white is better. White is a legacy to pass on. That's what they're saying.
And here's the thing. There was an amount of blowback of, woke mom just looking for something to be whatever about. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And up until the point where she said, my eyes are blue, I would have been able to ride with the, this is a sneaky double entendre sort of thing. Jeans, passing down. But when you prioritize her blue eyes in concert with the close-up of her blonde hair, you are communicating something. And whoever the marketing, flack, I don't know if it was the VP of marketing or whatever, somebody said, let's see if we can get some brand recognition that's a bit escalated behind doing something that we know is a little shifty. That was the decision that was made, because most blue jeans, and this has been true, sex sells, blah, blah, blah. And as Joy has said, she's not a bad looking chick. And so, yes, we've had beautiful women selling clothes, handsome men selling clothes for generations. So that's not in and of itself the thing. And, I remember when Paris Hilton was in Carl's Jr.'s or Hardee's, probably depending on what part of the country you were in, and she's eating a big burger pretending like she's fixing a car. And it was clearly about Paris Hilton, who at one point was nominally perceived as a sexual object, who is doing this stuff. But it was a burger commercial, and it was almost a lampoon of how sex can be used to sell anything. And so it was very tongue-in-cheek, just like when Jack in the Box had a mock boy band that was selling their burgers. And it was like, I'm RJ, I'm the other RJ, I'm EJ, I'm JJ. And so it was like, okay, we get it. This is a thing that's going on. And so we're going to leverage it. Being openly promoting of the concept of eugenics has never been sexy. It was acceptable in the 40s in certain countries, including the United States. In
That's what they're doing. They're trying to test the waters to see if it's going to be acceptable here. You know, and so all minority populations can get aggravated about it and say this is trash, whatever. We are not their target audience in the first place. What they need, and this is just one piece in the grander puzzle of how they want to erase and ultimately enslave all of us, is, will white America be cool with this? And so you got so many people that their whole identity is sticking it to the libs, that when liberal white people say, hey, this kind of feels like eugenics, they're like, you crybaby snowflake, blah, blah, just look at it. And they try to bully them into being quiet about it. And if they can convince or even coerce the few liberals that are left out there to be quiet about this eugenics messaging, you'll start to see it more and more. But the other thing that I love about it is I saw a piece, I can't remember who it was by, but the title was American Eagle is trying to sell jeans to racist white men. And, you know, and it's not working because, one, men don't buy jeans like that, especially not American Eagle. And then two, white women that are in the age range of the person they're trying to attach to. Because, you know, Sydney Sweeney is maybe in her 20s. Young white women are not interested. They could give a damn about the male gaze. At this point in time, we got a whole male loneliness epidemic. Do you really think women are trying to dress sexy for them? They don't care. We're looking for comfort. We're looking for ease. You know, now if they said these jeans are super comfortable and, you know, you can slide them on without unbuttoning them, hey, maybe somebody might buy into that. But the whole I'm the prototype for beauty and my genes deserve to be passed on. That's the message. Nobody's picking that up. You know what they're putting down.
Not even trad wife, and you could say that it feels kind of trad wife adjacent. In that,
and even the trad wives don't believe what they're saying; they're just doing it for clout.
No, it's performative. So it's a very interesting choice. Not a choice that I would have made as marketing director, trying to sell my 17th rate jeans that ain't nobody trying to buy. No way. And you know it. It would have been interesting, perhaps, to lean into a jean ad that shows a broader range of what women look like.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Dove.
But that's diversity.
Correct. And Dove did it, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, where they had women of different colors and different body types as a part of their campaign, because they were speaking to a bunch of women who were not a monolithic body type or race. And so, you know, Dove got a lot of credit at that point. It was kind of pre-wokeness, but they got a lot of credit for saying this is what real women look like. And we can't just sell to, you know, pale face, blonde, thin women. We want every woman to feel comfortable washing their face in Dove soap. So take some notes, American Eagle. You tried it.
And also, if we're going to talk about genes being passed down and genes being strong, I'm gonna need y'all to recognize that every time Black folks get into y'all's genes, you know it.
You're recessive.
All it takes is one drop, right? That sounds like pretty strong DNA to me. I'm just saying from a scientific standpoint.
It is what it is. Your blue eyes are recessive, which means your blue eyes aren't going to be passed down unless you are.
It's the ultimate white fragility.
It is. And maybe that's your bigger message. So do better, American Eagle.
Do better.
Just do better.
So tell us, one of the things that I did after kind of, go ahead.
Before you, I think Chan got into the room and he didn't hear that we had recorded some segments, but we were actually live. And so he made a comment that I put up on screen. Now, we were off camera and I was eating the last piece of my cheesecake when I read this and proceeded to choke to death. So if you heard me coughing off screen, I couldn't hit the mute fast enough because I was like, oh my God. Chan, you almost killed me. And now how would that look? Woman in a t-shirt dies in a hotel room stuffed on cheesecake. That is not how I want my eulogy to go, bro.
No, not at all.
How do I explain that I'm in here surrounded by fried rice cheesecake?
Yeah, when I went back to take a look at the ad as I was trying to gather some assets for the show,
Mhm.
I realized it's worse than I thought, because they don't ever use the word gene in the context of physical genes,
Right.
except that you're looking at a girl who's wearing denim.
Yeah, everything is
whole-
GENE in the
Correct.
conversation.
You know,
Mhm.
things get passed down, and good things get passed down, and you know, like your hair and your eyes. My eyes are blue. Okay, so I was kind of on a tear, and I was looking for reasons to hate American Eagle, and so I came across this thing. It is not real, but it's hilarious. So I'm going to show the clickhole one first, because clickhole is like the Onion, outrageous. So they very clearly were going overboard in kind of like a South Park way. We're going to touch on South Park a little bit later, but let me read this for you. We hear you. Our Sydney Sweeney Has Great Genes campaign missed the mark. Our intention was purely to inspire you to masturbate to images of Sydney Sweeney wearing our clothes. We had no ulterior purpose or message to convey beyond get yourself off on these close-up shots of Sydney Sweeney's body in tight-fitting denim. That's it. That people viewed our ad as promoting eugenics and not as sexual fodder that they could think about while pleasuring themselves in the shower or wherever they masturbate to images of buxom women like Sydney Sweeney breaks our heart. Actually, it says breaks out heart. Perhaps our messaging could have been clearer. Maybe a more literal slogan, such as Sydney Sweeney has great breasts and buttocks for you to masturbate to, would have spared our brand all this trouble. It's too late to know. All we can do now is officially condemn any and all ideologies that endorse eugenics and promise to do better. So in a lot of ways,
the nerve to have the American Eagle at the bottom.
I mean, so Joy, on a scale of 1 to you're fired, how corporate speak outside of the obvious sexual content. That felt like a pretty solid boilerplate corporate response to we missed the mark, and we'll do
we
better,
hear you.
and we hear you, and
we missed the mark. We apologize. We'll do better. All of that. Our intention was to provide softcore porn, not eugenics. Yeah, that tracks.
So here's the one that I, for a minute, thought was actually real, because when you Google American Eagle, Sweeney ad, you get a lot of different stuff. And I saw this post a couple of different times. It was always relatively low resolution, and I couldn't understand why it was. But when I read this, I was like, oh, okay, so they must have hired the marketing cat from Wendy's to come and spout off, because this one is a lot more in your face. To whom it may concern, we sincerely apologize for featuring Sydney Sweeney in our recent advertisement. In hindsight, we underestimated the combined impact of her blue eyes, blonde hair, and general hotness. Also, we did not realize how big her boobs would be. Our marketing team has been sent to denim sensitivity training. Thank you for your feedback. Please stop emailing us. We're still trying to recover from the group chat fallout. That felt to me to be like some 22-year-old.
I love how you fell into like aged up Valley Girl sound, you know.
I couldn't get vocal fry to work, but it was like
vocal fry is like hard to do.
Oh, there it is. So wisely, I will say American Eagle has not responded. Except,
what can you say?
You can't say, well, you certainly can't say that you intended it to be fat fodder. But what is interesting is that they have advertised for a new social media league. so somebody was like, but
here's the thing. Here's the thing that is so it's not disappointing, because I didn't expect nothing from them. But here's the thing that is so wild to me is that you had the photo shoot, the set, the director, the designer, the copywriter, the marketing team, the executives that signed off on it, that the marketing team works for, the people that those folks work for, all of these folks that said, yeah, this is good. Every last one of them. And if they didn't, here's again where I talk about, you know, the lid out of cowards. If there was somebody that saw this and said, this is maybe not going to go the way they go, either they didn't listen to that person or that person didn't say anything. Sounds a whole lot like Congress, right?
Well,
So we're seeing this happen a lot. They bulldoze forward with it, like, nah, this is gonna great. This is gonna be great. Our market testing, which is usually just the guys they golf with, said this is gonna rock. Right?
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
And what's perhaps even worse is that, because I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was. She's a star of Euphoria.
Oh.
Which is already, I mean, so pushing so many boundaries, so many lines.
There's
to
a whole
cross.
lot of drugs and sex in Euphoria.
It's a lot of, and so you already got that either going for you or not going for you, and then you're just gonna go on ahead and just throw the stuff in here. Let me just say, I just want to be on the record for this discussion. Just because it might not have been intended to be a eugenics play does not mean that the right-wing echo chamber is right in saying that progressive people are quote unquote snowflakes and looking for a problem. We felt the way we felt when we saw what we saw. Now, you're trying to be cute and say it's not what we think it is, but we saw what we saw. And you have a tougher job defending the non-racist, non-eugenicist aspect of that ad than I do prosecuting that case. So it is what it is.
Right.
She does happy. Wait, hold on. Bob Breeden is.
This is when I was talking about choking on my cheesecake because he's like, she died happy and full. I would have. Yeah. I would have died happy and full.
Yeah, I mean,
with a strawberry flavored smile on my face. Yo, this cheesecake was. I finished it, and I shouldn't have because I'm gonna regret that later. But right now, I'm happy. I have no regrets yet.
Well, let's talk about somebody who perhaps does have some regrets. Obviously, a person who's been much in the news this week and last week is Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm calling her Ghislaine because that's how I heard it pronounced. I have since from some BBC people heard Ghislaine or Ghislaine, but you know, it's definitely not Ghislaine. So I'm going with Ghislaine Maxwell.
You sure it's not Ghislaine? I feel like that's what they called her at the parties. Right?
Maybe they did.
Ghislaine. Yeah. Right. Her name is Lydia.
Yeah, she's so what we well, that was a pre-sell. You're gonna hear it in the clip that we've already recorded. So she has met a couple of times with the number 2 in the Department of Justice, and it has been said that if there were to be a proffer from an already convicted person who's currently serving time, it would not be to someone who was not at all involved in her case. It would be the person who prosecuted the case, because that person knows everything about the case, because that person won the case against this particular defendant. However, Trump had that prosecutor Comey, daughter of James Comey, fired. So let's take a look at our Ghislaine segment.
So we couldn't do a show this week without addressing the 245-pound elephant in the room and the Epstein scandal. So the big news since we were last on air with you all was about Ghislaine Maxwell and what she has been proffering in at least 2 conversations with the Department of Justice, talking to Todd Blanche, who was Donald Trump's personal attorney before he was elevated to the number 2 in the DOJ. And of course, inevitably, due in no small part to Trump himself mentioning it, the topic of pardons has come up. So we want to get into exactly how disgusting a pardon would be and why Ghislaine is almost uniquely unqualified to receive any sort of clemency, commutation, or pardon in her sentence for decades of trafficking young girls and the women who have grown out of that trauma, including Virginia Giuffre, who unfortunately unalived herself earlier this year as a result of the pressures from her years-long
struggle
to deal with how she was abused. So,
Mm-hmm.
Joy, kick us off.
So we use a lot of examples in pop culture, and we time and time again talk about how it seems like the country is headed into the Handmaid's Tale. And I need y'all to understand that who they are considering pardoning is a combination of Aunt Lydia and Serena Joy. Now, if you watch the show, Aunt Lydia was the trafficker. She was the one that burned that girl's eye out, that beat the handmaids into submission until they went along with this nonsense plan and ritual. She was the one that enforced the trafficking. You know, she never helped anybody escape. She never had any sentimentality for anybody. If anything, if you watch the show in its entirety, you know that she always felt inadequate, insecure, low self-esteem about herself. And so she was ripe for conditioning. Here, now you are in charge. Now you are in control. Now you have a place that is invaluable because you are the supplier, right? And you make sure your girls, pimp, are staying in line. But I said she's a combination because Serena Joy participated. Serena Joy held June's arms down while things were going on. It was a part of the ritual, right? Mm-hmm. And so she's a combination of both because there are allegations that she not only trafficked, but participated in some of this rampant abuse with Epstein. And so she's the worst type of person, and they're considering pardoning her. Now, knowing that, you know, and again, this is all allegations that have been espoused. Knowing these allegations, pardoning her means you must be doing it for a reason. There has to be some bigger thing that you're hiding if you're willing to cut loose a monster in order to keep it hidden. You know, so that's the question that is raised for me. What's in there that you feel like you got to let her go to buy her silence?
Well, and to be clear, since we were last on air, one of the big stories was that there was a birthday book for Epstein's 50th birthday, and that Ghislaine Maxwell sent out requests to a bunch of different people. Bill Clinton has been confirmed and has affirmed that he did have a note that was in that book. It was very anodyne. It was simple. It didn't make any sly asides to exploitation or anything.
Just happy birthday, old boy. Yeah.
Basically, and it's nice to see that nice people get nice things. Basically something like that. Alan Dershowitz famously has not said that, you know, the allegations or the assertions that he had a letter in the book. He has not said that he did not have a letter in the book. But the content of Donald Trump's letter is particularly troubling for a number of reasons. Let's start out with the fact that there is a quasi-pornographic doodle on the note, and that he signed his name Donald in a part of the doodle where it looks like pubic hair. Then there's the content of the message itself, talking about enigmas and talking about enigmas never grow old. And we have things in common, you and I. And ... First, right out the gate, he says, well, that doesn't even sound like me. I don't use the word enigma. So, of course, people ran through the little files and have him on record using the word enigma. Whether or not it's his own word or a word he's reading off the teleprompter, bottom line is we got you on tape saying the word. Then, I don't doodle, I don't make drawings, I never draw. Don Jr., I've never seen my father draw, not once in his entire life. Then they pull up the footage of him saying, yes, I draw, and it's skylines. And every year for a number of years, he was doing these doodles, and the doodles were being auctioned off for charity. In and of itself, drawing skylines, you're a New York developer, no big surprise. Your name, people, you're famous, you're a celebrity. And so, yes, I'm sure some people in the era before Epstein and before some of the worst parts of your character were exposed, I understand how somebody would pay thousands of dollars for a Trump sketch for a charity auction or whatever. So fine, no big deal. But you don't say you never sketch when we've got dozens of your sketches that you literally sold. And you know what this is? Yeah, go ahead.
This is Rick James. Now, what I look like putting my feet on somebody's couch, you know.
Yeah, I put my feet on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put my feet on their couch. Watch it. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I
But-
mean, this is what this sounds like. I never did
And-
that. I mean, yeah, I did it, but I never did that. But I did it.
And he ran to Scotland to try to escape. And when I tell you the number of folks who were not here for pedophiles, you have to understand,
is winning.
as much as we despise pedophiles over here, the pedophiles across the pond, it's extra bad. It is so extra bad. And you had these Scots and people all over the place with the most incredible signs, the most incredible depredations of what you could possibly call somebody. It's actually better than what we have on our own shores, which is kind of disappointing if I'm being honest. But it was so bad that he had to come back over here. And among the faux pas that he made was in a sit down with the prime minister. And I think, Joy, you pulled up some of the
words?
things? Yeah.
I pulled
I
up
can
some
do
of
it because I do a passable Sean Connery. But I was saying that he was sitting with the prime minister and talking trash about the Muslim mayor of London. And somebody asked if he was going to come to visit London, and he said, "Well, I don't really like your mayor. He's not a good mayor. He's destroying the city." And the prime minister had to say, "I mean, he's actually my friend." And Trump is like, "Oh, wait, everybody doesn't just hate brown people like automatically." I can't get away with that stuff. So it was kind of a thing for a minute. But go ahead, Joy. You were gonna hop in and say something.
So and Tom sent me this, actually, a list of lines that are signs. They took the time to draw this out, to write these on big poster boards and hold it up in protest. Scotland, hats off to you. So butt plug face, toupee fuck trumpet, cockwomble, mangled apricot hell beast, witless fucking cuck splat, incompressible jizz trumpet. That's my favorite. Say it again.
Incompressible jizz trumpet.
Ignorant fuck muppet. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that all across threads when somebody makes me mad. You ignorant fuck muppet. Whoever said that in Scotland, thank you for my new phrase. And say this last one. It's the whole thing.
Tiny fingered Cheeto face ferret wearing shit gibbon. Thank you, Scotland. Just thank you, Scotland. And
once again,
Parker
if
and Stone.
If you know anything about the UK, once again, remember how I said a certain faction lacks imagination? The Irish and the Scottish ain't with that shit. In fact, we tried to pull the gingers into the black race a little while ago, but once again, creativity.
At least Harry.
Yeah, we keeping Harry. Harry defected, so we keeping Harry.
Exactly. Yeah, it's and thankfully they didn't use a slur, which is much more common in Scotland and England than over here. We don't use that word at all in polite conversation, but it's almost as common as the N-word in certain aspects of American culture. We just don't use that word, and but I'm sure there was more than one sign that alleged that our sitting president is one of those things. So
yes, there were several signs that repeated his crimes that he was convicted of.
So
thank you, Scott.
That's a lot of what has been pressing in our world these past couple of weeks. Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike Johnson, literally terminated the session of Congress early because they go on August recess.
So they wouldn't have to vote.
July. He terminated the session last week so that they couldn't take up a vote about the Epstein files, except that the oversight committee didn't completely disband. And they had enough votes between the Dems who specifically stayed, And the MAGA people that they knew would ride with them, and they tried, the chair, who is a Republican, of course, tried to do a voice vote. There were 8 ayes and 2 nays. And he said the chair recognizes that the nays have it. And the Democrats were like, we need a roll call vote.
Mhm.
And Nancy Mace, sitting up there, voted yes. And I think it was 2 other Republicans who voted yes. And so they voted in their oversight capacity to demand the entirety of the unredacted Epstein files into Congress. How that's going to work remains to be seen. But the simple point of fact is that with all of the chicanery and shenanigans that this administration is trying to visit upon our once great nation, well, I won't even say once great, once
Better
functional nation,
right?
There is some pushback, and it's coming from spaces where he perhaps thought it would never come. And Nancy Mace, I won't say to her credit, but true to her displayed and offered brand, did side on the side of women who have been exploited, as opposed to just knuckling under and rolling with the MAGA train.
Right.
And so I guess that's a better thing than possible. And the only last thing I'd like to say about this whole fiasco is that Lil Lindsay, pearl clutcher of the Senate, has a 2-front primary challenge. And while I have no doubt that Lil Lindsay has been party to a spit roast before, he was not expecting that spit roast to put him in electoral jeopardy. So, I mean, a barbecue. That's all I'm talking about, a barbecue.
Oh yeah, mute the mics.
We're back, unmuted.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, being able to like take a break during the show, get up, go use the bathroom, or like, grab some food, because this is kind of dinner time. That's actually, we might do this more often. If we can just record a segment to like let play, because we're still watching the chat, we're still interacting and everything, but take a little break, right? Grab some water or something. Mm-hmm.
The Daily Show pre-records things. Saturday Night Live pre-records things.
Right. We could even do skits. Oh, let's do skits.
So we need Chan, who will never appear on the show, to give us some improv script skit prompts. And speaking of people who are great at thinking on their feet, spectacular at pulling together the sharpest satirical barbs this side of the new millennium, our last segment that we pulled together was about South Park. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have not seen episode 1 of season 27, imagine season 27. South Park has been around almost as long as The Simpsons, y'all.
Right.
The 2 longest running shows on television. And you might be surprised, Grey's Anatomy is not so far behind, to be honest.
What'd you say?
I said Grey's Anatomy is not so far behind.
Right. They've both been around since the early 2000s. Well, yeah, I remember when South Park came out, because I was living in Tennessee. That had to be like 97.
And I used to love like the first 3 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. I never would have imagined that show.
That's Super Thursday was real. Grey's Anatomy, everybody was, before we even had Grey's Anatomy predates the internet. Well, predates Facebook. So before we even had group chats, we were all calling and talking about Grey's Anatomy. But this is about South Park. Matt Parker, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone. Matt Parker and Trey Stone. Matt and Trey.
There you go. Parker and Stone.
Yeah, Parker and Stone. Wait, SVU, Law and Order SVU has more episodes than Grey's Anatomy.
No, that's absolutely true. I'm just saying that is a multi-pronged franchise, and SVU ended up being the one that survived because Law and Order, the original Law and Order, has been off, and then it's come back on, and then they've got like 7 different spinoffs or flavors or whatever. But Grey's Anatomy has never had a break. And so, you know, it wasn't a spinoff of something, although it has inspired a couple of spinoffs at least.
Right. And South Park has never had a break. They've had Grey's Anatomy ain't had no movies. South Park had bigger, longer, and uncut. Wait, first it was South Park the movie, right? And then the second one,
I
South Park
think
and uncut.
Yeah, I think their first feature length film that was set in the South Park universe was Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. But
okay.
It because my favorite Parker and Stone film, and we've talked about this, is Team America, World Police.
America. Yeah.
So we're going to show you this segment about South Park, but after the show, after you invite somebody else to watch the show, go and look. It's not enough to just see the clip. The clip is the clip. But what you will never see in a clip is the last minute and a half of the episode. And that is worth everything. Now, I've already canceled my Paramount Plus subscription. Oh, wow. Oh, way too old.
Right. That's something else since we did that recording on Epstein list. That's something else that has come out is, you know what? It reminds me of, once again, Chuck Hobbs talking about one of his clients that couldn't resist saying something on the stand to defend his manhood, but also incriminating himself by that defense. So the sitting president saying, you know what, I'm not even friends. I wasn't even friends with him for long because he stole one of my girls. One of your underage women, bruh, did you just admit to having one? You know what that sounds like, bruh?
And here's the scoop on that, just so that we're clear.
Yes.
The Virginia, she wasn't Virginia Giuffre at the time, but whatever her original name was. That poaching of an employee happened in 2000. They didn't cut ties until 2005.
Right.
So I don't know how many people were trafficked from Mar-a-Lago into that world of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Also remember that Mar-a-Lago is in a state that has very accessible ports for people to come into the country undocumented.
Yep.
And ever. It is very easy to traffic someone that doesn't speak the language, thinks that you're them, and actually gets a job, right? You gave them a job in the fancy resort. All you got to do is clean bathrooms. And then, hey, there's a party tonight. And the next thing you know, you never go home again.
And
nobody misses you because nobody knows you're gone.
Nobody knew you were gone. And Virginia was unhoused. And she just felt, you know, I'm a towel girl. You know, there's nothing wrong with passing out towels or whatever. Ghislaine scooped up, sidled up next to her. And, you know, she said that Virginia, in an interview, said that she had received some training in massage. And once you said massage, Ghislaine had the claws out. So we're going to look at this South Park thing, and we're going to talk about it after. So remember, season 27, episode 1, I canceled Paramount Plus, but I canceled it. I pay a year in advance because it's cheaper. And so they didn't finalize this deal until after my renewal date. So I sent them a letter. I put it on my Facebook page in case you want to cancel if you're paying month to month. But I'm going to use all of the rest of this time to watch any diverse show on that network. So Equalizer, coming for you. South Park. Just enjoy this segment about Parker and Stone and the agita that they are giving Donald Trump right now, because it is epic.
All right, so let's talk about censorship in the media. Some of you who may follow me on Facebook may have noticed that I put a statement up on my page talking about the cancellation memo that I sent to Paramount Plus about canceling my subscription because of the way that they are assaulting journalistic integrity and free speech, because They kowtowed, the Redstone family kowtowed to the Trump administration because they wanted to be purchased in an $8 billion deal by Skydance. The son of Larry Ellison is going to be the CEO of this new thing. And there is a documented letter where they literally say that in not so many words, we're going to be friendlier to the Trump administration. That's basically what they said. And that was the cost of doing business. They gave them the $16 million. And for that $16 million and hours of Trump time, it's not just the $16 million, it's also hundreds of hours of basically Trump propaganda time that the FCC, which is supposed to be an impartial arbiter of how these things go, is approving this merger.
Right.
And because they had that power, they capitulated to Trump. Go ahead, Joy.
And this is how this country is where it is, because there are smaller factions that have this ideology of we want to be a what I would call, in the words of Octavia Butler, American Christian country, meaning white, foundationalist, fundamentalist, but still skewed Christian because they don't want to help anybody. They just want to criticize and rule over everybody else.
Right.
That's an ideology, but much more prevalent is this worship of capitalism and of individual gain. And so rather than, because if they're doing this merger, everybody involved in this merger is already rich. This is not about, I can get my family out the hood. No, this is not that. This is, you know what? I need money. I need more money. And this is a way to get it. And I don't see any reason not to, because I want it. And so we will allow this erosion of freedom of speech and allow them to make an example of, in my opinion, my personal opinion, the strongest voice in late night television rallying against this progress of fascism. We'll just cut them off because we'll make money doing that. And we're not even going to look back, and so that's the bigger part of the problem. So everybody's like, oh, all the news media, they're showing their true colors. Yeah, the true color is green. They don't care. Rich people, regardless of what side of politics they might be on, it always comes back down to, and then I'll make more money. That whole, I'd rather be a general in hell than a peasant in heaven. That's their mentality. We have more money, even though the world is burning around them, even though they are helping to subvert free speech. But I'm getting paid though. And that's really what this boils down to, which is why some people are still holding on to their voices. And some people were smart enough to get the money and then show their ass, which I thought was great.
One of the interesting things about how the Stephen Colbert thing came across is that the emergence of his prominence in the talk space was him being a parody of Bill O'Reilly on Comedy Central.
The Colbert Report.
Yeah. And he was a literal caricature of a brainless right-wing thug, to contrast Jon Stewart, who was then the sole host of The Daily Show. So you had The Daily Show, which was super left-leaning, and you had The Colbert Report, which was a mockery of right-leaning. And from that, he parlayed that into being the late-night talk show host, who inherited the mantle eventually.
From Jay Leno.
Well, it was because it's CBS, so it would have been David Letterman, I think. So
yeah,
anyway.
You know what? I ended up seeing. I saw a headline about Jay Leno he weighed in on the whole canceling of Colbert. I don't know what he said. Don't know if I trust him. But David Letterman also was a very outspoken, free voice in his day, and he too would probably, in this current climate, they might have canceled him too. They might have just got him off the air because you can't trust what he might say. Yeah.
Well, the really interesting thing is that almost immediately after the cancellation, an announcement was made, and who knows how real it is, but the announcement was made that Colbert was going to join forces with Rachel Maddow. Because Rachel, I see your eyes got big. So the thing about that is that, of course, Rachel Maddow she's not considered a journalist per se, but she is the most respected voice on MSNBC.
Yeah, she's a very respected pundit. Yeah.
She's a pundit. She is an academic, and she's brilliant. And so the idea of marrying those two things, I don't know if it would compete against Comedy Central per se and The Daily Show, but it would be a way to kind of pull together those two halves to make a much more powerful whole. And so if they decide that they do want to cancel him in advance, and, you know, go on ahead and do it, because May is still in the middle of the midterm cycle. But if you want to give him a head start, go on ahead by all means. I mean, we saw that Tucker Carlson, and he's not my, you know, a person I'd like to model after, but when he left Fox News, he went right to X and is pulling a Joe Rogan in the X space, unbound by whatever strictures, and I don't know how many he had even on Fox, but unbound by those,
any
unbound by the
rules.
$768 billion settlement. He's just become exactly who he has ever wanted to be. And I will say, he's not carrying water for Trump anymore. He is doing what he feels, and that he feels is important. And he is leaning heavy into the Epstein stuff, which I have no problem with. And you know, go ahead, man. Let's make it happen.
I find it so interesting that this was the bridge too far. I mean, it should be, but there were so many other bridges,
right,
that y'all just happily just floated on through. But this one, like, nope, we got to see it. And I'm glad they had him. I'm glad there was a bridge, because we were starting to believe that he, like he said, he could shoot somebody in the middle of the street and they wouldn't do anything to him. But now they're like, nah, I need to know about them Epstein files, bro. Like, you know, it's feeling very Diddy party-ish, bro. What's happening? You know.
And speaking of another program that is in the Paramount /CBS /Comedy Central umbrella, let's talk for a moment about South Park. So
that's what I meant when I said earlier that somebody got the money first and then they showed the ass. So South Park's deal. Go ahead.
I have not been a person who was a regular watcher of South Park in probably 23 years. I loved that it was subversive. I loved that they didn't spare anybody. They would talk trash about anybody. They went heavily into Barbara Streisand. They went heavily into R. Kelly. They went heavily. I mean, if you did something,
they went after the Mormons. They went after the Scientologists. They went after. I want to say they did something with Muhammad at one point, but they were like, okay, we don't want to die. But yeah.
No. So they have been unsparing, and of course, with even Caitlyn Jenner, they had a whole season basically that was very strong against Caitlyn Jenner. And so what ended up happening is that if you know anything about South Park, you know that one of the reasons they're able to keep their content so current is that they start a week before the show airs. So all of their stuff is digital. They're doing like 80% of the voices or whatever. So they don't need other people to really be involved.
Their budget has never increased. And they're basically a cartoon version of Saturday Night Live skits. Like you said, they got a week to get it together.
And they pull it together and they do it. And so what happened this week is that they set their sights on Trump. And among the controversial things that happened is that they somewhat recreated their scene from Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, where Saddam Hussein was in bed with Satan, except they put Trump in bed with Satan. They put a naked Trump with the tiniest, that one digit of your index finger is perhaps too big.
Without the fingernail. Just
without the So they put this Trump, he drops trowel and hobbles over to the bed in that South Park way, and he's twirling his finger out. Come on, Satan, you know I'm here. You can't resist this, and doing all that. But beyond that, because that's the clip probably everybody saw. At the end, they have this faux apology, and they say, we're sorry. So we're going to do 50 PSAs for Donald Trump. And they pull out the most accurate, believable, deep fakey Trump ever, wandering through a sandy environment, taking his, you don't have to find it anywhere. If you are still subscribed to Paramount Plus, go to Paramount Plus, season 27, episode 1. You can fast forward all the way to the end. He is stumbling through the heat, taking off his shirt. He is bloated. He is gelatinous. The orange skin in his face does not match the pasty white skin on his flesh. And he stumbles through this sand and eventually falls down, and his micro penis actually says, I approve this message.
Yes.
And it has googly eyes. It is the
So
most,
because he's going through the desert, he keeps stripping clothes off.
He keeps stripping
talking about how
clothes
he's
off.
marching or moving. They make it sound like a PSA. He's doing so much for America. He's working hard for America. So you technically can't say that he's not working, but the imagery is him just wandering through the desert, stripping naked, and then he passes out, all pasty white, gelatinous body, and then you see this little thing come up from the bottom. I approve this message. It is wild.
It was
God bless Trey
insanity.
Parker and Matt Stone.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Listen, and let me just say, Team America World Police, one of my all-time classics. I love the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I love the ridiculousness of it. I love that they skewered rent at the very beginning of the movie. So many classic songs.
Mm-hmm.
But the most, perhaps the most prescient song in the entire album of the cast recording of the soundtrack is America F Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so fitting, and it could be a MAGA anthem, because terrorist, your day is through, and now you have to answer to. I mean, it is. They are just absolutely incredible. They're absolutely incredible, and it remains to be seen. I know the next South Park episode drops tonight. Well, drops on Wednesday, which is yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be watching it. I haven't watched in 20 years. I am going to be glued. And if you have Paramount Plus, please go start your South Park. Season 23 is also a stem winder. Set your South Park on a season and let it run. Let them know that we are here to watch South Park.
Mm-hmm.
Because my God, what they did
now,
just incredible.
The gag is they just let go of, this is the same company that let go of Stephen Colbert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was for financial reasons. And then they signed this $1.2 billion, 1.5 billion with a B, $1 billion contract with the South Park creators for 50 episodes. And they got this. You thought Colbert saying "go fuck yourself" was bad. This micro penis, Trump is with the small hands. You know how he feels about all of that. And now they've got Trey and them got them over a barrel, because you're not getting this money back. We signed this deal.
No.
We got our money up front.
No, we got our money.
And I will give you 50 episodes, and each one will have a PSA for Trump in it. What are you mad about? We said he's working hard for America. Prove what in here is not factually true. Show us your penis if you think it's bigger than that. Where you going? Can't call it libel if it's true.
It's funny that Trump's penis is back in the headlines, no pun intended. There was a reel I saw of this white woman, and she said the medical report is out that Trump has chronic penis insufficiency. And the woman off camera says, Venus. She said, yeah, penis. And she said, no, Venus. She's like, penis makes much more sense. So he came out, of course, against the South Park people. How dare they, blah, 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 blah. It spiked searches of South Park, Trump, 670%. He doesn't understand how things work. You don't shut down people looking for something that you don't want them to see by saying, I can't believe they did this, because now everybody wants to see exactly
what did they do. Mm-hmm.
And so it's failing in every way. And Paramount cannot say, well, even if they did say that it's too rich a deal, the money's paid.
Exactly. The breach of contract is probably, because what's the worst that could happen to Trey and Matt? They get canceled. They get paid for them breaching their contract, because it will be Paramount's fault if they breach it, however much money that might be. Even if it's 10%, you're looking at what, 120 million at that. So, and then they take that money, 150 million, and then they take that money and go join Colbert and Maddow somewhere over off in the ether. If South Park came to YouTube instead, bruh.
Listen, this is what people don't completely understand. If you were producing a live television show, you'd need a set, you'd need a studio, you'd need actors, you'd need costumes, you'd need props, you'd need cameras, you'd need all these things. Trey and Matt own every means of production for their show. And if they took it to YouTube, or if they took it to Tubi, or if they took it to, I mean, Tubi is a competitor because Tubi is owned by Fox/Disney or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if they, or it's Fox. So if they took it to another platform that is free to access, they could, 1.5 billion is enough to pay a bunch of people for a long time. They could easily do 10 more seasons with no guardrails at all.
Right.
And not take it and charge. People would pay, especially.
I would absolutely subscribe to their YouTube channel.
I absolutely
and pay their Patreon or whatever it might be.
Their Patreon, whatever. And so this is, again, what people don't completely understand, that you can't tell the best satirists of a generation, multiple generations. They are the
Mel Brooks of this generation.
In the portrait of Dorian, the picture of Dorian Gray, who's the guy who wrote those? The British guy who wrote those. I don't know. Yes, you. Oh man, Sharpie, you'll comment in the thing and let me know. He is Mark. They are Mark
Oscar
Twain.
Wilde.
Oscar Wilde. They are Oscar Wilde and Mark Twain, and just the most brilliant satirists.
And Mel Brooks.
And Mel Brooks of the. I mean, yes, because they can't resist a good fart joke. And what the right has to compare with Matt Stone is a cartoon image of Joe Biden farting to the tune of Baby Shark. Biden farts. That's what they have to compete. And
so there's something deeper there. There's something deeper there that I want to talk about. At a high level, we can talk about appropriation, colonization, cultural theft, etc. But just on this one-to-one scale right here, the reason that they only have, Trump, Biden farts do whatever is because they lack imagination and originality. It doesn't mean that they don't lack strategy. It doesn't mean that they're not cunning. It doesn't mean that they haven't pulled off this long game plan of Project 2025 that they probably started in 1965. They've been on this. But the joy of life, no pun intended, the verve, the glow, the swag, all the words that describe almost every melanated population. We just fun. And they want the fun. They want the creativity, but not from us. They want to have it themselves. They can't do it, so they steal it, repackage it, and try to sell it to other people as their own, which means you end up with a copy of a copy of a copy. You know how clones go. The more you copy it, the worse it gets. And so they ain't got it. In a nutshell, they ain't got it and they ain't gonna get it, because the people that tend to be more creative by their own game plan have been pushed out of being a part of this MAGA world. MAGA is specifically Christian, cisgender, heterosexual, white male misogynist, right? Homophobe. That's nobody else. And those people are boring and lonely.
Well, I'm gonna tie it back to our favorite film of the year, Sinners. Remick was trying to do that same thing. Mm-hmm. He wanted Sammy's song. He wanted Sammy's power. But whoever he enslaved, and there were a couple of hot takes talking about, he was trying to create community. No, he wasn't. He was a hive queen. That wasn't a community.
He was A&R man.
Right. Yeah. And what ended up happening is they all started dancing an Irish jig outside the juke joint. They were doing their own dance on the inside, But as soon as he got into their heads, they all started doing the Rocky
Dancing
Road
to his
Dublin,
tune.
and that is why the right will continue to fail. Fox actually tried to have a right-wing SNL show. Folded. Wasn't nobody watching. Greg Gutfeld is supposed to be their funny guy. He is trash. He is absolute trash. And so we have Parker and Stone. They have Gutfeld. Guess who's going to win?
Correction. We have Parker and Stone. We have Colbert. We have Maddow. We have all of the Saturday Night Live cast. We got the Living Color cast. We got most of the comedians. We got John Leguizamo out here doing good work. John Leguizamo is mad, and I love it. We got so much color.
George Lopez too.
Spice on this side, and they got American Eagle. Okay, so we can make our transitions coming back a little bit better, but you know, we liking it. You still on mute.
That was an accident. I forgot that that was actually a recording. I forgot that I needed to take it out. But ladies and gentle peoples, that is our take on the hot topics of the week. We are certainly looking forward to seeing what shakes a loose.
I got one more.
You got one more? Okay.
One more thing I want to talk about. And I'm going to back into it. So one of my favorite content creators and Harvard professors is Son Michaud. I adore his little long dreaded tail. He put out something earlier today, and sometimes he'll do something where it's kind of a gotcha at the end, or he'll say something like, "You're right, this isn't racist." Or I think he said, "I want to let you know Hulk Hogan is not a racist." And so you're like, "Where are you going with this, bro? Because you don't normally ride like that." He goes, "Hulk Hogan is not a racist because he's dead. He was a racist." Right. Because he does language, so "was" is the proper sentence. But today he came out, he goes, "I just want you to know, and I mean this, and I'm so serious, do not date Black women." He's like, "I'm so serious, I mean this, I know, right?" And he's like, there's no gotcha at the end. Do not date Black women. He says it like 5 times. Don't date them, don't think about them. Stay in your lane. Snow bunnies all the way. If you snow bunny bound, keep that energy. If you've been out here saying that Black women ain't worth it, and you've been dating white women forever, do not date Black women. Don't date Black women. And so what he's saying is, if you've been out here riding like Shannon Sharp,
right,
don't try to come back.
Right.
Don't date Black women, because that ain't gonna go well for you. And so that's why I said I wanted to back into the last thing I want to talk about, Shannon goddamn Sharp. You know what? I used to like Shay Shay. Actually, I liked Shannon Sharp when I didn't watch him. What I mean by that is I didn't, because I'm not a sports person. So I would see clips of him and Skip from time to time. And I thought that he was funny. And I liked that he seemed rather unapologetic about his mannerisms, his Hennessy and his cigars and everything on TV. I thought that was cool. But I didn't really watch him. I don't watch Club Shay Shay. I watched that Cat Williams episode though. But normally I don't watch
Everybody
him.
did.
Yeah, he's not. I don't do talk shows and podcasts much anyway, so I was going to keep my attention. However, I do think that we should let him go. And what I mean by that is just what Summer Show was saying, like, don't date Black women. Bro, don't nobody want you back. And here's the other thing. The reason I wanted to talk about this, because it'll probably be a dead story by this time next week. But I want to say to everyone that can hear me, we can't save everybody. And all skin folk and kinfolk. Y'all already know that, right? And refuse to offer any form of olive branch to someone that has slapped my hand away multiple times, me being a 92%er Black woman. Look, I try to help you. I try to save you. You told me I could go to hell. So guess what? Good luck to you. I saw a post about Shay Shay that said, it mentioned that he had once upon a time told his daughters he wasn't a bank, right? He said, for you to tell your daughters that you're not a bank and then turn around and retire a 19-year-old white girl says a whole lot about you, bro. Also, you settled Why? If you so put upon, if she set you up, if this was all a misunderstanding, if you didn't really do anything wrong, why just settle? Take that shit to court, drag it out. Because generally speaking, this is a misogynistic country. They're going to want to believe you. You had to know that you couldn't be believed. So you're like, hey, let's just here's several $1 million. Go on, sit down somewhere. Yeah, like Anthony said, bruh, it's on you. Can't do nothing for you. And so, but I don't want to use him as a scapegoat. I want to use him as a representative for a genre, if you will, of Black men. You, for whatever reason, and I understand some of the reasons. I'm not even down to you for your choices. You made your choices. You also live with your choices, right? I'm still looking sideways at your boy that was going to play King the Conqueror. I forgot.
Oh, Jonathan. Major.
And then the thing is, him and the running down the white girl and maybe choked her or hit her or whatever. That's not even why I canceled him. I canceled him because you tried to tell somebody they needed to be Coretta to your Martin Luther King, and you are not. The fuck you think you are? I know you look like civil rights, but you are not. Okay. I'm just saying. We all know it. You see it. You see it. He looked like he got a green book in his back pocket.
You said you look like civil rights, but you are not.
Yes. And Miles with the PSA, date older Black women. Okay, I see you, Miles.
And Anthony Turner mentions that he lost his ESPN contract. Now, I didn't know that he was still with ESPN.
I didn't either.
I thought he was just on the YouTube because when the show, when he broke with Skip over what he broke with Skip over, I just assumed that he was pulling a Tucker and just left. But I guess he was still, I guess maybe they pulled him in for his commentary.
He dreams in 1920s Polaroid.
He dreams in Michaud.
Right. Yo.
So Chan, it is almost insustainable why you will not appear on the show. You be dropping these gems. But that's okay. Do you live your life?
You can write for us when we do our skits.
That's right. Yeah, right.
We'll even give you a little byline written by.
We'll give you written by. We'll give you credit. So,
but this is me speaking for myself and nobody else. But also, I believe there's a lot of people that would agree with me. Specifically, not to all men, not to all Black men, not to all Black men that date outside the Black race. This is to specifically those men that choose to denigrate Black women while they date outside the race, to choose to try to promote this idea that Black women are inferior, that we are unworthy, that we are less than while you're dating outside the race. You can date any other race. Yo, I just always like Italian accents. Okay, cool, do that. But to say I like Italian accents and Black girls are so ghetto, now I got a problem with you. That type of dude, boy, fuck you. You deserve what you get. And that's another thing that I forgot to mention. When Summer Show was talking about don't date Black women because you made your choice, he goes, if your snow bunny ends up shooting you, because remember that dude that had everything Black women and his white girlfriend shot him? Hey, man, you made your bed, now you buried in it. And that's a terrible thing to say. And I said it.
Yeah, she got away with it too.
She got away with it because why wouldn't she?
Right.
The police system specifically is set up to protect white women. Matter of fact, usually when white men come for Black people, it's over some white woman's life. And you out there dating her. And all she has to say is, he laid hands on me. And then the tears come. And then not guilty. They try to let that woman that shot Botham Jean go. Right? Commute her sentence and whatnot. Amber. Goddamn Amber. Right. Right. She got away with murder. But So like Anthony's saying, the issue is the denigrating and disrespecting. You can do whatever you want to do, but you always got to throw us under the bus to do it. Meaning you got some deep-seated issues that you need to talk to a therapist about. And if you had paid a therapist 1/10 of the money you paid that chick, your life might be different right now.
1/10.
I'm just saying.
100th.
100th.
That girl retired her OnlyFans page.
Because why? Why am I doing this?
Why
she
am
was
I
doing it
doing
for the money. Now she got money. She ain't got to do it.
I'm paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody.
life.
Bye. I'm not gonna do OnlyFans anymore. Bye.
She has more money than I will ever make.
Excellent.
And I got money. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I really need to start selling pictures of my feet. I'm doing life wrong. There's something on my body that somebody would pay to see. I know. I gotta get these camera angles right. Right?
So yeah, Shannon, I guess Chad Ochocinco, don't slip up on this. Is your chance, bro.
Yo, slide right on in there.
Club Cinco.
Club Cinco has a nice ring to it.
It's better than Club Shay Shay, if I'm keeping it a buck.
Right.
I didn't understand Shay Shay because Club Shan or Club Sharp.
SHA for Shannon, SHA for Sharp.
I guess, but you pronounce it Shah and Sha, not Shay.
Yeah.
So Club Sharp just would have been better. That's fine. But
that's forward, Chan. Goddamn. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You know what? He's not lying because
I know he's not lying. That's why it's so funny.
There is
the whole
a
ASMR
woman,
squish. She sits on cake.
She sits on cakes. It's cakes on cake.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
she got that gimmick. I can be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Toes in Jello or something.
Foot cake. Cheese foot.
Cheese foot. It sounds
New York style cheese foot.
Right.
All right, everybody. Next week we're probably going to do another kind of hybrid thing, just because I'm going to be traveling myself this time. But we will be back, and we look forward to keeping you up. You'll have things you want to talk about. We will too, and that's in honor of the defunded PBS and Mr. Rogers. Pudding foot.
Right.
Pudding foot. What are your toes doing?
Not smelly cat.
All right, everybody. With that, I will say I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpeneth Steel. Goodbye, everybody.